Today, I'm gonna make a track using the Universal Audio Volt 276 and the included software. Once you get any of the Universal Audio Volt interfaces, you can download the UA Connect software, where you can register your interface and also get all the included software like the UAD Essentials and all the third-party content. In order to make this track, I'm gonna use Luna as my main recording software, the Volt 276 of course, any MIDI controller that you have available, pair of headphones, and any instruments. It comes included with the Marshall Plexi Classic and also the Ampeg SVT Classic, which are guitar and bass amplifier emulations to give you an awesome tone. Personally, when I start working on ideas, I start with the guitar, which is my main instrument. So let's do that. So grab your 1/4" cable, plug it into any of the 2 available inputs, and make sure that you hit the instrument button. What that's going to do is going to tell that input that this is an actual instrument and it has high impedance, so it loads the signal properly. I have some tracks here that I've created. This is a mono audio track, and I put the Marshall plugin as an insert. I can get some pretty nice dirty tones, but you know, if I lower the inputs here, the gains, I can get some clean tones as well. So I'm going to put it in record enable. Okay. Yeah, I like that. The Marshall doesn't have any reverb going on in the amp itself. So I've created a send to my Galaxy. This is included as well. So this is the Galaxy Tape Echo. It has delay and reverb. So by putting it in a wet solo, I can put it on a auxiliary track. So it's not directly on my channel, but I can send to that. Here on the head select, if you see here, it says reverb only, and the left hand side is tape only, delay, right? And if you see from 5 through 11, you have a combination of delay and reverb. I can tempo sync this as well. So now instead of being in milliseconds, this can be in subdivisions. 1/16 sounds fine. And then I have my echo volume. So this is the amount of delay I have here. And then reverb volume. So let's check that out. Yeah, I really like that. All right, so let's press record. I'll try to do my best. If I can't get it perfectly right, but I like the take, I can actually quantize it in Luna. So it's pretty awesome. I can quantize audio, but I'll try to do my best. All right, so I noticed some inconsistencies. I played a little louder than others in some parts, so I can actually add a compressor. The LA2A silver compressor is awesome because it's really simple to use. There's a peak reduction and a gain up. Peak reduction is just to compress, and then gain is after the compression. So that wasn't perfect. I'm gonna quantize it and see how we can get it perfect. I'm gonna press Shift Command U to show the quantize menu. I'm going to select the area that I want to quantize and actually go to the warps view so I can see the warps. And I'm going to hit 1/16 of a note here. And I'm going to select my range to see exactly what I want to quantize. Yeah, that looks about right. So in 16 notes, I think it should be okay. So now let's press play, see what happens. All right, so that's quantized now. I'm just going to duplicate that track. One of the virtual instruments that comes included is the VD Deep from UJam. This is a pretty cool drum plugin that allows you to play the drums manually if you want to. So I can grab a MIDI controller. So I can play that if I wanted to. I found some really cool presets. This one is called Dry Pop. And you can play with basically the mix preset. You can make it very aggressive. You can make it gentle, garage, dark, lo-fi. And these are your drum kits here. So you have wide, rich, classic, short, punch. And the amount of grit, or basically the amount of compression and the saturation that you want here on the right hand side. So these are your faders here for controlling that. On the bottom, you also have each individual sound, and you can add reverb per one if you want to, or you can send them to individual outs. Now that Luna offers also multi-out for virtual instruments, but it also has some really cool presets here. These are all rhythms that have been pre-recorded. So let's start playing with some of those. So one really important thing that I do every time I open up this plugin, the Virtual Drummer Deep, is I go to micro timing and I put the player sync into song position. This is my preferred method. So if I press play now and I press the key a couple bars later, it won't start playing from the beginning. So it did a little kick there, which it was the correct thing to do before. So what's cool about this is I can actually do it in real time. I can actually press record, press the notes that I want, which will correspond with some of those presets, or I can just drag and drop and then edit them if I want to. So I can bring this C3 here on the top, which basically allows me to drag and drop this here. So now that's one whole performance. You're gonna see here, I can press fold. So now it shows me only the notes that are played. So that's a kick, the side stick, and the hi-hat. Let's bring another one. So we have a variation for like a chorus. So we have 3 variations here. Let's see what they sound like. So we have 3 different patterns. Each one of them is 4. So we have a virtual bassist. So this is from UJam as well. This is called the Virtual Bassist Dandy. And it has a bunch of awesome sounds as well. So if I have a MIDI keyboard, so I have warm, I have round, natural, and then brilliant. So that's just the character. Obviously I can change the pickup too. Usually like a combination of 2. So like in the middle, and then the amp, this is what makes a lot of difference. So you have the raw amp, the vintage amp, the cream, and then just a DI and a drive. So you have a little bit of distortion as well, kind of like that, saturated. And then you also have a bunch of other settings here. In this case, I think I want to play it just like an instrument. So let's see what I can come up with. I like that, but it definitely needs some quantizing. Again, quantize. And let's make this note a little shorter. Okay, so let's take that, duplicate that. All right, now let's add Polymax. This is an amazing synthesizer built by Universal Audio from the ground up, and it's included with any of the Volt interfaces. So I found a really cool preset called Gold Dreams. Let's see what it sounds like on the track. Okay, now I'm gonna add something from Shape, which is an instrument that comes included in Luna. Okay, I found this clap, which I like a lot, but it's a little dry. So I wanna send this to a reverb that I already have set here, which is the LX480 by Relab. It comes included in the package. I'm gonna go Send, and I'm gonna select LX480, and now I can set how much I want to send to that. So high frequency, right? I can cut the highs a little bit, and then I can put reverb time, make it even a little longer. Yeah, that sounds so good. Let's add more of that. Yep. Just that simple. And duplicate that. Same thing with this guy. My track's starting to shape up, but I still want to play bass. I think I already have the bass in here, but I want to cut some of the low end out of it and make it more of an effect. So the Century channel strip is a pretty awesome channel strip here that has a bunch of stuff like preamp, EQ, compressor, and then your master out. So what I'm going to do is enable the EQ and enable the compression. So I'm going to put high pass on it so it cuts a little bit of the lows, and here at 100 Hertz I'm going to turn that bass down. So now it sounds like something else. It doesn't even sound like the bass anymore. And obviously I'm going to add compression so all the notes are more even. I like the character that it's given. It is more of a distortion, more of an effect. Probably not going to have any low end now, which is what I want. Okay, so now I'm using the Ampeg SVT Classic, which is one of my favorite amps of all time. What's cool is that it's very simple to use. You have volume, treble, bass, and then you have some options here. So you have some ultra high and ultra low. You can turn it on, turn it off, and then the volume is just the gain. So let's try with these two off and see what it sounds like. Okay, let's see what happens if I put ultra high. And ultra low. I think for this track, I prefer ultra low on and ultra high off. And let's see what we can do in this track with the real bass. So I was playing a lot of different things. What I can do is just grab some of the stuff that I like and then copy and paste some of those. So I'm going to finish everything off with a little bit of polishing. I have an EQ here on the master track and I'm going to enable. I want to make everything a little bit nicer, round it up with some highs here about around 10K. I like a broad boost around 6 here. So we're going to listen. I'm going to start adding some highs. Okay, so I gave it a little bit of lows and a little bit of highs. Not a lot, but it's just perfect where I need it. And then this is where the magic happens. So this is included as well as the Pultec, the Verve analog machines, essentials. So I'm going to turn this on. And there's several types of tape machines that give me different sounds. So let's try some of them. I think the Sweden one is going to be the one, but let's try some of the other ones. So it's cool how when you go from one to another one, it goes more of a hi-fi sound like in the Sweden one. As you go down the line, it gets more and more crappy as you go, in a good way, obviously. You know, you have the warm one, which could be really nice for lo-fi sounds. And then the thicker one is very good for distortion. You can put it on an individual sound as well. So I can put this on the drums if I want to. But I'm going to put this on the master track and I'm going to play with the drive until I like it. So I'm going to start at 0. So I like it around there. That's 58.5. When I went a little bit over 60, started distorting, which could be a good thing. But in this track, I don't think I like that distortion. But I do like everything that it's doing to the track. So as you can see, you can get a lot done with the tools that you get with the Volt series. This is the Volt 276. But then again, with any of the Volt interfaces, 1, 2, 276, 476, 476p, you get all these amazing tools that you can use for your own productions. You can use this in Luna. You can use this in any other recording software as well. Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, FL Studio. You can actually use these tools. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. And as usual, like and subscribe to my channel so I can keep making more content for you. And for more information about the Volt interfaces or any other Universal Audio products, go to uaudio.com.